Hello all you epic plasma gamers! About a week ago we announced that Dominic is back, and to celebrate that, we're doing a game jam. In the last video, we asked for your suggestions for game jam themes, and you all certainly suggested.
Oh yeah, but there's a plot twist. I've hardly even touched a computer in the last 2 years, let alone made a game. But how hard can it be? I just need to turn on the computer first.
Turn on. Clap. On. Turn on. Do it. I just got back from playing Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker for the Nintendo GameCube. I have an idea. Hello? Anyone home?
Possibly a little dramatized, but you get the point. Now all there is to do is pick a theme. To the wheel! Alright everyone, we're here, we're at the wheel. We're ready to spin to pick a game jam challenge. We'll have 2 days. Dominic hasn't touched a computer in a little upwards of 2 years, and I've been making games the whole time. It's totally fair.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Bring it.
Bring it on. Dungeon escape from at Croaky Waiter.
And out of the dungeon.
Alright, so that's our theme. Time starts now. Now we start cooking.
Hey, let's cook.
The first thing I did on day one, despite saying I wouldn't work too hard on assets, was spend way too long making some models for the walls. Then I started putting them in Unity and was reminded why game dev is just my side gig. Fixed up the lighting and wow! Then I got some first-person movement set up with this super nice Unity package made by Aiden Graves. It's got crouching, sprinting, and even jumping. Might not keep that last one, but now that I have these basic systems in place, it's time to talk about the gameplay loop. The core features I want in this game, and keep in mind this is before really starting anything, is puzzles, stealth, and jump scares. So here's the game plan. Get it? It's the plan for the game. Step 1. Escape the cell. You're going to start in a typical dungeon cell, and your first task will be to escape. There'll be a voice talking to you through the grates that will help you and give you hints as you go along. Once you're out, you move on to Step 2. Evade the guards. You have to make your way through some rooms and hallways while avoiding the eyesight of the guards. They'll have flashlights that light up the rooms so you can see where they are, letting you sneak by them to Step 3. Collect the keys. There'll be 3 keys around the map, and you'll have to collect them without being spotted and make it to the main door to escape. But there's one little problem. The whole time you'll be trying to avoid the rat. The rat is going to be the main antagonist of the game. Instead of security cameras, the rat, which is just some guy in the vents, will run around in the walls to different parts of the map where they can look out and see you. If the rat notices you, they'll jump out of the gates in the wall and start chasing you. Now all I have to do is a lot of coding.
So I started where all devs begin, with the player controller. At least I'm assuming that's. As you can see here, I used this sprite of me prototype some character movement. My original concept was to have me escaping a dungeon while fighting off enemies in different one-screen areas. As you'll see throughout this video, I changed the concept a bit throughout the development. Now I've been told by some credible sources that you really don't want to work on art until you have a functional prototype that's fun and engaging. Oh, and I'm working on art now. You see, despite my better judgment, I really struggle to work on projects that I don't care about. I feel like I needed to work on art to motivate myself more to work on this project. Anyways, here are the results of day 1. Let's go back to Dagan to see what he's up to.
A lot of coding later, and now I have a full interaction system that lets you turn things on and off and trigger animations. This is useful for things like light switches, doors, crab dudes. Because all my epic plasma gamers hate crab dudes. Wait, you're joking. You don't know what an epic plasma gamer is? Well, it's only the coolest and most legal way to fill the void that makes up our lives. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button, and if you're feeling really fancy, the bell button as well. And if you want to get that authentic dungeon entrapment feeling, why not check out our Discord server? I also made it so the screen is pixelated, so now it looks like I know what I'm doing, but as for me, that's about all I got done on the first day. So day 2 started, and not only did Dominic get sick, but I also got sick. So it was on this day that we decided to change it from a 2-day game jam to a week jam, so that way we can work on the games in between school and work and being sick. So progress started getting pretty slow, but here's what I got done. First thing I did was set up a more modular way to use the walls and be able to put them down so I could make the areas faster. Then I started to work on some of the decorations for the game. You can see I've got the cell decorated, some torches, the door works. Exciting, I know. I'm actually pretty proud of how this turned out because I made it a lot faster than I've been able to make this kind of thing in the past. The next thing is gonna take a lot longer though. I'm gonna try to get the guards set up and see how it goes.
So, once again, my demons haunted me and stopped me from adding more functionality to my game. Instead, I opted to add this really cool tile set to my game. You may not be able to do anything in this game, but man, does it look half decent. Also, I added axe throwing. The axe doesn't do anything yet, but boy is it going to. Now I'm turning it back over to Dagan.
So, I made a guard. If any of you say anything about Minecraft. I made it so they just kind of go between different points and patrol so I didn't have to deal with any pathfinding, but if they see you in this little cone of vision, then you get reset back to your cell. That's about all I was able to get done for day 2 though. So that means it's time for... So, I wasn't able to get much done this day. I was busy being stuck in bed, unable to get up or do anything that brings me joy. I was also sick, so all I got done today was making this key model and putting it down in an empty room. This is my life.
This day I prioritized getting the player finished. Here you can see I added a fully functioning health bar, a health pickup, and a brand new blob. This is the start of one of the enemies I would create for this game. Now that I have the player fully functioning, I can spend the rest of this week working on enemies and level design. In theory. Ha! Foreshadowing.
While I was still sick today, I did get to work on some of the things I needed. With most of the systems in place, I was able to build out some of the rooms and focus on interesting guard movement, so now there's a bunch of different rooms where the guards move around and a few different keys that they defend. I also put in the system for key collection and being able to unlock the main exit door.
Well, today I worked really hard on the enemies. I made this green goblin dude that chases after you when you're nearby. I also finished off the blob. He will stay a distance from the player and shoot at him when he's closer. Now, it was at this minute that I decided to completely change my vision for my game. Yay! I realized that Dagan was likely doing something pretty similar. You have a dude, he's in a dungeon, he's trying to get out. I also felt like the game was pretty basic, so I decided to twist things up. Instead of the player trying to get out of the dungeon, the player is now in charge of the dungeon, and the monsters are trying to get out. You need to bring them all back within a certain time limit. I was able to start getting work on a system that allows the player to pick up defeated enemies and move them around. It isn't the best looking thing visually, but I think it works great and about how I intended. Now, in theory, it's time to build out the level. Nah, let's do that tomorrow.
So on this day, I wanted to go ahead and finish building out the prison and polish all of the systems. I added sound effects and some voiceover for the tutorial. Here's those.
Hey, up here in the vent. Open the vent. I unlocked your cell door while no one was looking. This is your chance. Just, make sure you don't get caught by anyone. Just, go out. There's an exit. The door, it's green. You'll see it. It's very green. It's bright green. There's keys. You need 3 of them. You need 3 of them to open the door. The only way to get out, it's the 3 keys through the door. Don't get caught. Go get them.
I messed with the lighting and some other stuff, but unfortunately, this was actually the last bit of progress I was able to make, so you'll see the finished product at the end.
Well, at this point, I really just needed to white knuckle it and crank out this level. Of course, it could still use some polishing and improvements, but I'm honestly happy with what I was able to accomplish, especially considering how long it's been since I've done anything like this. After working on this project, my life has changed, and I hope yours has too. I'm not the same person today as I was 6 days ago. If you ever feel like you can't do it, if you ever feel like you can't accomplish your dreams, stop. Stop it right now. Think about the Viking bro. He could do it. Okay, I may have exaggerated that a little bit, or a lot. I'm still the same person, but I already learned a lot of lessons. I fell victim to the same mistake I made many times on previous projects. That being that I didn't really come into this as much of a plan or a prototype. Luckily, I'm being reminded of this on a game jam and not a year after working on a bigger project. I think it's a lesson I'll definitely take into the next thing I'm going to work on, going with more of a plan and a vision of what I can accomplish, when I'll accomplish it, or at least when I'm going to try to. And yeah, I think that's a pretty valuable lesson.
As for me, I didn't really learn anything. Well, that's not not entirely true. I learned a good lesson about scope creep and keeping your game minimized when you're on such a short time scale. I am really happy with how my game ended up, but I didn't get to fully realize any of the core concepts that I wanted to from the beginning. There's no jump scares, no puzzles to escape the cell, and the saddest part is no rat. It is really tense, which I like, but I have a feeling this would have gone a lot better if we didn't both get sick. I'd be interested to know if any of you are interested in this game, because I had a lot of fun working on it, just not as much time as I would have wanted, so if you want me to finish and maybe do a devlog or two, let me know in the comments. But as for me, that's all I've got, so see you later, nerds.